Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome. Welcome. Click on over to the chat so we know you're here. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. This is the Selling and Innovation Isn't Enough to Win Masterclass series. I'm Greg Rosner, CEO of Pitch Kitchen, and I'm excited to get started. I'm excited that you're here. And we're just going to wait for a couple minutes for some folks to join. If you're here, just click on over to the chat and just let me know. Can you see me here? Waving my hands. Can you hear me? Just type in the chat. Give me a one there in the chat if all is good. Hello, welcome, Cheryl. Welcome. We're going to wait here for a minute or so for folks to join. But do click on over to the chat in the upper right-hand corner of the screen and type in, if you can hear me and see me, just type in, I got you, if you do. We'll start in a minute. So can you hear me? Hey, welcome, Jackie. Ian, could you hear me? Click on over to the chat. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I just typed in the chat. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Yes, Stefan, welcome. Can you hear me? Type in the chat, click on over. Welcome, Stefan, Carl, Ian, Jackie. Uh, if you can't hear me, I'm going to refresh this page. Hola, can you hear me? Just yes or no. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. Just want to make sure. All right, wonderful. Ian, awesome. So we're going to get started in a minute. Some folks are joining. Love you guys. If you're here, you're my people, you're CEOs that are bringing innovations to your customers so they can be awesome too. I am really excited that you guys are here, and we're going to get started in just a minute. Welcome, Maxwell, Ian. Type in the chat where you're coming in from. Maxwell, Stefan, Carl, Ian, Jackie. Type in the chat where you're coming in from and what business you're in. Hello, Stefan from Wisconsin. Awesome. Ian, Arlington, cybersecurity, fantastic. Welcome. Type in the chat where you're coming in from, and we're going to get started in just a minute. This masterclass is for you. If you're a CEO of innovation, helping your customers be awesome with the innovation that you're selling, this is for you. Hello, Carl. Also, Arlington and cybersecurity. Fantastic. Stefan, augmented reality for sports marketing. Fantastic. U.S. citizen living in Buenos Aires, custom e-commerce development. All right. Let us get started. If you're here, you're just joining now. Elio, welcome. Type in the chat where you're coming in from. So we're going to jump into this, how to go from boring to brilliant. The 5 shifts CEOs make to lead your category, and boost sales without hiring a CMO that is going to be fired in about 14 months. And that's just a statistic, by the way. I think a lot of CMOs don't stick around. And there's good reason for that we're probably going to jump into later. This is a sales positioning and marketing masterclass for CEOs, and I am delighted that you guys are here. So type in the chat what business you're in and where you're coming in from as you're jumping into this meeting. Hello, Michael, welcome. So I've got a ground rule here, and this is not for spectators, because I thrive on conversations, and I want to have a conversation with you in this live masterclass. Time is the most valuable thing that I have, that you have, and I appreciate your time here. And the only way that you're going to get actionable takeaways, amazing transformational results from this masterclass and bring it into your business is by interacting with me live. Now, if you're watching the replay, God bless you. This is for the live folks. So if you're here, you're game, give me a one in the chat for this ground rule, that this is not for spectators, this is for participators. Give me a one in the chat if you're down for that. All right, Stefan, Ian, Maxwell, Carl, Eel, awesome. Thank you. That's the ground rule here. I've had the privilege of working with CEOs that have made these shifts that we're going to be talking about today, and they are crushing it in their respective industries, from cybersecurity to uh, real estate development and healthcare, health tech, and many different areas of business. So I am publishing a book. It's called Magnetic Messaging, and it's going to come out in July. I am so excited, and you guys will hear about it in the future. It's really how to grow sales, lead your category in a market that is flooded already with solutions. And that's what the folks we've worked with have done. So we're going to get this started, this 5 shift started. I'm going to go really, really fast, but I know this is super, super hard because the marketers that you've worked with, they really aren't paid to take an opposing view. And I will take an opposing view today. You guys are often stuck in decision loops and there are blind spots you're dealing with. You're not using the right frameworks. Solution leaders forget why alternatives rule if you're selling a solution. Hello, Prakar. Hello, Cheryl. Welcome, welcome. Type in the chat, click on over there where you're coming in from and what business you're in. Um, and this is hard because it's so much money is being wasted on marketing that does nothing for sales and time wasted on demos of solutions that do not close. So type in the number in the chat here. One, if you have a CMO in your corner helping you crush it. Two, you hire marketers. Or three, you're going it alone as a CEO of a business, of an innovation. In the chat, type in 1, 2, or 3 so I know where you're coming from. 2 and 3, okay. Stefan, 2, Prakar, 2, Maxwell, 2 and 3, Ian, okay, okay, awesome. Carl, 1, gotcha. Elio, 3. So a lot of the folks here probably don't have CMOs. You actually may be even a CMO. So I'm not going to come down too hard on CMOs, but there's a lot of chief marketing officers that are using the wrong frameworks and leading to failure. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I know the stakes are high and you guys are passionate about your business, but businesses fail and your business can fail as well if you don't lock these down. I know the stakes are high. Market is shifting right now. Steep decline in win rates. Perfect deals are being lost to indecision and stagnation. Teams are misaligned, misaligning customers. VC funding isn't being handed out like lollipops anymore, and businesses are failing right now. So this is a critical time. I am delighted that you're here. We've got Jackie, Ian, Carl, Stefan, Maxwell, Elio, Michael, Prakar, Cheryl. So this is I need your participation here. It gives me energy and allows me to pass on to you these 5 shifts in a way that you are going to rock with and crush it as well. We all know what happens to websites that often get rebranded, nothing for sales. And if marketing folks you're working with aren't using the right frameworks and aren't helping you with these shifts, they're not going to save you. The best salesperson that you hire won't save you either because they're going to leave if the customers they're speaking to are wasting their time and they're having to do all the heavy lifting instead of your messaging and positioning. And ChatGPT, while extremely helpful, is not going to save you either if you're not giving it the positioning and the message that you need to convey. So who am I? Real quick, I'm the CEO of Pitch Kitchen. I help CEOs lead their categories and fix their shitty websites and their bad, ineffective sales presentations that don't really help buying conversations. And I like to turn ineffective marketing into sales enablement. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. All of this without hiring a CMO. This can actually be done in a new way. We're going to be talking about that. I'm a fractional CMO for 2 companies, and Pitch Kitchen, which I'm the CEO of, offers agency services, just so you know who I am. In my career, I've sold $50 million worth of enterprise software solutions and actually got into this marketing business as much as I hate marketing from a sales perspective. I was using the most awful sales decks thrown over the fence by marketing saying, go sell with these. And they absolutely failed me, failed my team in having the right conversation. So long story short, created a side hustle building sales presentations based on the right conversations, totally crushed it, and founded Pitch Kitchen 4 years ago. And also trained a lot of salespeople in the mix. So enough about me. Who is your ideal customer? Type in the chat here. And again, this is not a spectator sport. I want you to participate. I want you to think about who your ideal customer is throughout this entire masterclass today. Type in the chat here, who is your ideal customer? So we know who they are. And this is your biggest competitive differentiation, how well you understand your customers. So please type in the chat here. Who is your ideal customer? Cheryl, marketing operations, all levels. Elio, VP and Senior Director of Sales Ops and Rev Ops. Carl, CISO, CEO, small, medium enterprise, financial services, excellent. Senior marketing decision makers. Stefan, brand owner, spends money on spots, fantastic. So keep these people in mind, have your virtual arm around them as we're going through this. And just so you know, in this masterclass, there's a couple giveaways here. There's a magnetic messaging framework we're going to give away to as a PDF. Also, an opportunity, if you qualify, to meet with me. So who is this for? This is for CEOs bringing an innovation to their customers. CEOs committed to their vision, CEOs early stage or growth stage companies that are stuck or plateauing between that range. CEOs whose success depends on getting prospects to change what they're doing, how they're doing it. Five is really CEOs who are able to invest time and money into sales enablement. That's a critical factor. So if this is not you, if you don't have a viable solution, if you're not committed to your vision, you don't have, you're making 100 million or more, your solution doesn't really require customers to change much, or you don't have the time or money to invest in getting your message nailed down, you can bow out of this conversation. This is not for you. So my promise to you in the next 45 minutes, we're going to go through this real quick, is how to nail your sales message, even if your solution is complicated, how to turn your sales presentations into buying conversations, even if your prospects don't even know that they're looking for your solution, why it's really game over for traditional marketing strategies that you're probably working with, how to close more deals even in a cash strapped or recession market, and how to attract and close ideal customers without adding headcount or an expensive CMO. That's my promise to you. That's what we're going to get done. Another promise to you is at the end of this live masterclass, so if you're watching the replay, you won't get this, which is a free PDF magnetic messaging framework. So you could revamp your homepage based on these 12 conversations that show up at every touch point. And so that's going to be downloadable for you. So we're going to jump into this. Hello, Stefan and Maxwell. We're going to jump into this now. So if you guys are psyched, give me a 1 in the chat. But first, is this you? Is this you? Um, is this you? Uh, you've got an amazing solution, an amazing innovation, but prospects don't really understand it at first. Um, they may be comparing your solution to solutions that are nothing like it or do completely different things, to which you're confused and they're confused. If that's happening to you, you're in the right place here. So you and your sales reps are working really hard explaining what your product is and why anyone should care, um, instead of your messaging doing that work for you, instead of the time that you have with your prospects talking about their worlds and their solution, their challenges and goals. Then you're in the right place here. If you're thinking to yourself, what you're selling is a no-brainer, first of all, you've been in it in a while, and for you, it is a brainer, not a no-brainer. But to them, maybe it is a brainer. And if you're thinking to yourself, like, if they only knew the power of this, but they don't, then you're in the right place. If you have a marketer spending a lot of time marketing, and marketer's going to market, but it's not converting to sales, you're in the right place here today. If a lot of your demos are not resulting in sales, even 6 months later, this is a Gartner statistic about most SaaS companies. Shocking that you're in the right place. If you read some really great books, like from Seth Godin and from Keenan and Donald Miller and April Dunford and even Tony Robbins, but you look at your marketing, you look at your homepage, you look at your proposal, your sales presentation, they're not really embodying the way that you need to sell, then you're in the right place, because it sounds like there's some shifts that need to be made. If your salespeople are saying things like "we're the best" or "we're the only," and they're not really on the same page, or scary version, you're afraid to invest in hiring more salespeople because they're not really set up to be successful. We're going to be covering this here. If you're spending money on a graphics person, a website person, social media, PPC, but what you seem to be missing is a compelling single story, a narrative that really allows you to sell easily and really attract the right people into your business from uh, customer side as well as an employee side. These shifts are going to help you. If you have a sales presentation that looks a lot like a document, white background and page numbers, and you're sending them out in emails and not hearing anything back, or you're in the right place, or you have a website or homepage that's using smart language that nobody understands, like this software platform drives, I'm going to read this, transparent, data driven decisions to optimize you're lost, right? Got it. So if you're using language like this or like this one, creative, innovative workflow technologies that drive, I mean, really, this stuff doesn't work. And so if you have a website or marketing or proposals or sales presentations that use any of this language here, just give me a one in the chat. You're in the right place because this doesn't work. And we're going to help you make these shifts here to change this. Um, yeah, modern technologies, best in class, world class. If you have to say it's world class, guaranteed it's not. By the way, so I just want to make sure that if this is resonating with you, any of these things, shoving more data at them isn't converting. And if you think maybe how can our messaging be simple? Given how sophisticated our solution is, if this is you, then you're in the right place. Seeing your pipeline grow, close deals stagnate, or losing deals to status quo, you're in the right place. So, first of all, let me pause here for a second and just check in with you guys. Um, Aurora, Elad, Cheryl, um, do you have you experienced any of those things? Give me like, I don't know, a five in the chat if you experienced any of those uh, sort of symptoms of these shifts not happening. In the chat, give me a five. Yeah, Cheryl, Maxwell, Ilio, Ian, Prakar. So the good news is, and this is great news, that those are symptoms. Those are symptoms that will all get fixed, all get resolved very quickly um, once the real problem is fixed. And the real problem here is you haven't made these five shifts that we're going to be talking about today. Once you do, you're going to have complete confidence in the marketing spend. You're going to lead your category and accelerate qualification. Folks will show up predisposed to buy your solution. Your leadership team are going to be fully aligned, salespeople as well, and your presentations will be unforgettable. And your prospects will be showing up, ready to buy. So that's a tall order, but that's actually what happens when you make these five shifts. So let's jump into the first shift here. Number one, lead an uprising. So if this is you, you got to lead an uprising. So real quick, what does your innovation challenge? First of all, do you guys feel like you are selling an innovation? Give me a two in the chat if you feel like you're selling an innovation. Let's see it from you. Come on. Give me a two in the chat if. All right. So absolutely 1.9. Yeah, Carl. So, what does your innovation challenge? If you're selling an innovation, it's like a breakthrough, revolutionary, blah 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 thing. By the way, who do you really get to say your thing is an innovation? I mean, do you really get to say that, or do your customers get to say that? So, I just want to shock you a little bit with that. But what does your innovation that you're selling challenge? Just type in the chat. What does it challenge? What does it require? So if you are selling an innovation, you have to appreciate that you're the enemy of the status quo. It's going to challenge the status quo. So if you typed in the status quo, I don't think you did, but that is what you're challenging. Would you agree? Give me a yup, YUP in the chat if that's what your innovation is challenging, the status quo. Cheryl, yep. Yep. Stefan. Yep. So if you're challenging the status quo, you're the enemy of some people. We're going to talk about this. But if you're making claims of how awesome your innovation is, you're going to come off the voice of all your marketing, your homepage, your proposal, your presentation. You're going to come off as this arrogant expert, essentially saying we're the best, that this is the best, and here's why. But the new way and the better way is to the voice, this leading a rebellion, leading an uprising, has to be about encouraging the change against the status quo, talking about how the old way is dead and winners, companies that are playing the new game and the new approach, they are winning. And it's game over for the rest. This is really key. So, what are you rebelling against? Type in the chat. Let's see specifically, what are you rebelling against? Cheryl, spreadsheets, love that. Your Elad, is it job security that you're rebelling against? Interesting. Ilio, manual work, love that. DLP, don't know what DLP is. Stefan, traditional media channels, traditional staffing solutions, love that. Awesome. Every great CEO espouses a contrarian philosophy. So getting really clear on what your contrarian ideology is will show up on your homepage, in your sales presentation, in your proposal, everywhere, in your social media. Simon Sinek says, in order to stand out, we have to know what we stand for. So critical. What are you telling your people they need to stop doing? And what are you telling your people, your tribe, the people that you're helping be awesome? What are you telling them to start doing? So if you know what that is, type in the chat, who the people are that you serve and what they should stop doing and what they should start doing. And this is going to help you point to what the uprising is that you need to lead. Traditional communication channels, Michael, traditional media channels. So what do you want? Type in start, these folks start doing something and stop doing the other thing. And it can't just be start using our solution because people aren't really buying your solution. I know it sounds crazy. Well, what are your people, your customers really buying? Type in the chat if you know. It's so obvious that they're not really buying your innovation or your solution. What are they buying? Type in the chat. Stop talking to fans in the traditional media and use media like AR to capture. So AR, start using AR. Love that. Stop with policy management and start proactively protecting, monitoring documents. Love that. Great. So this is speaking. So Cheryl, not buying. They're using free software. Great. So what are people really buying here? Type in the chat if you know. What are they buying from you? They're not buying your innovation. They're not buying your product. They're not buying your solution. What are they really buying? It's not quality, no. All right, so make it really clear. This is the first shift. Make it really clear what the new way is. And the new way is the approach to beating the old way, the status quo. So you want to lead an uprising, be that leader, be that company that that throws the stone at the wall and screams from the mountaintops, not buy my product, but stop doing this and start doing this. And yes, your product, your innovation, I'll let you say that, confers advantage to those people, those companies that want to make the change. So if this is making sense, type in the chat makes sense. They're buying an organized way to document their accounts. No, they're not buying that. They are buying outcomes. So what does an organized way to document and account for their expense technology assets do for their business? What is the outcome of that? So you got to go deeper and go to the end result, to the outcome. That's what you're really selling. Hope that helps, Cheryl. So type in the chat makes sense if this is beginning to make sense about what this rebellion is looking like. And think of a hashtag. I don't know what hashtag you're currently using. Feel free to type that in the chat, what hashtag you're currently using. But your hashtag should be about the rebellion, the uprising that you are all about, helping your people conquer the status quo. So look at all these, famous hashtags. We'll trust your sources from the Wall Street Journal, Nike, just do it. Hit your numbers from Zoom info. Um, so what do all these have in common? Type in the chat if you can detect what do all of these have in common. And if you're just joining here, type in the chat where you're coming in from and what company. But type in the chat now, what do all of these have in common? Yes, Carl, these are actions. And these are actions. And the action isn't buy my stuff, buy my shit, buy my product, buy my company's innovation. What is the action that these are all asking people to do? Good, Stefan. Yes, excellent. So these are actions that speak to the end result, the outcome that their customers want. Donald Trump, make America great again, whether you like or hate the guy, we all can see good marketing when we see it. So what is your battle cry? Do you know it? If you think you know it or just want to try and precise, type it in the chat right now. Yes, type it in the chat. What is your 3 or 4 word action that you're asking your people to do as you lead an uprising in your category and cut through the noise in your market? Yeah, this is Zoom Infos. Love that. Hit your number. It's not just buy our data. Buy our data is not their 3 word uprising. It's hit your number. Makes sense, right? Crush document risk. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I think in the context of what you do, that may work. I don't know. But just if you want to take a stab at it, type in your 3 or 4 words and also remind us the folks that you're selling to. Because you're selling to people who are on this bell curve, where on the left side of this curve, some folks that you're selling to, the risk of changing to use your innovation is too great. But the folks on the right side of this curve, the risk of doing nothing is too great for them. They have to do something. So you're actually the enemy of those people on the left if you're selling solutions. So knowing who you're selling to is important. All right. Bad news. Bad news. Some of you here aren't going to make it, and just reality. And a lot of businesses don't make it. This is really important stuff because if your positioning isn't right, your sales and marketing are not going to work. And if your sales and marketing doesn't work, you don't have a business. So this is some serious stuff. And I'm really glad you guys are here because my job is to help you be successful. So Jeff Aronson, awesome CEO of EquipX. The before situation, very confusing marketing content. Pipeline was very thin, really letting key partners like Siemens down because they couldn't sell. They really couldn't uh, get their customers to wrap their heads around the solution and losing a lot of deals to indecision. This was their before website. There's nothing wrong with the design. It's sort of pretty, but it's totally confusing what it is that they're selling. After Jeff made these shifts, tripled the revenue and 6x their pipeline in 4 months. Mind blown. Total confidence in marketing spend because they can really see the return on investment. Partners can sell easily, and he is so grateful that the vision he has for his business is actually materializing. This is a quick snapshot of that website. You can see clearly it's about calling people to his ideal customers. In this case, it's hospital CFOs to lower their costs on the fleet of systems, and to make this transformation of turning these underutilized equipment into an optimized health system. And that's that transformation story. So if this does this make sense of how once you get clear on this shift of what you're really rebelling against and what uprising you need to create in social, on your homepage, in your emails, in your events, in your presentations, everywhere you're touching customers, that things are going to change. So type in the chat here. Does this make sense? Give me a make sense if this makes sense. Number one, and we will get on to number two. Got it. Awesome. 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 So remember on uh, Number two, yeah, success loves speed and action. And as a leader, I want you to make these shifts so that you can be successful. And by the way, at the end of this, there are going to be two options for you, two giveaways. One is the magnetic messaging framework, which is a download. And two, if you qualify, a meeting with me. All right. The second shift that you need to make is to start with the problem. All right. So why not start with your innovation? Yay, yay, our innovation, dolphins and unicorns and glitter. And why not start with your solution? Well, here's one screenshot that should be an answer to that question. So why not start with your solution? Does anyone want to type in the chat? Why not start with your solution and what this image brings to mind? Type in the chat. Yeah, too many solutions exist, and they may not even be competing solutions. Thank you. Where's Waldo? Carl. Ian, Elio, work backwards from customers. Yes, work backwards, stand in their shoes and work towards you. I love that idea. Yeah, so the problem is there's just too much noise. And it also doesn't answer these questions. Why should I change as your ideal customer? Why should I change right now versus 10 years from now? Or why should I change with your quote innovation that you say is an innovation? And again, I'm going to beat y'all up on that because you don't get to say that you're selling an innovation anymore. All right. You get to say that you are rebelling against the status quo. So I want to help you with that really important shift to make. So, you've seen the crossing the chasm thing. So just take a look at this diagram we talked about. You got to ignore a lot of the people here that you're talking to. Uh, Educate people that are moving up this curve, influence the people at the top of the curve, and or the folks who are the risk of doing nothing, and maybe you need to have some conversations with them about what happens if they do nothing, and encourage them to make that change. Those are the people that you're messaging to. So if you can do this, I'm curious, type in the comments here, what's the number one problem your solution solves? So if we're starting with the problem, y'all should know what problem it is that you solve. Type in the comments here, what is the number one problem your solution solves? Come on, participate. Let's see you make these shifts right now. We're here together. Love you guys. Love you, and I really want you to be successful here. Cyber risk of documents. I'm not really sure what that means. What is the number one problem? Human error is the number one problem. Okay, I can see that. Number one problem that your solution solves. Come on. What other conversion of static sponsorship? So what about, is that good? Good conversion, great conversion is a problem, low conversion. So I don't know what the problem is there. Poor quality, unreliable contractors, unaffordable full-time employees. Very good. Overspending on technology. Love that. High and far being optimized, high and far for being optimized. So they're not optimized, unoptimized. So that's not really a problem. What does an unoptimized distribution cost, what problem does an unoptimized distribution cost create? So get to the problem. So I know you're all about your solution. It's so easy to talk about goals and what the awesome thing that your solution does. But starting with the problem means you have to speak about, like Michael, low adoption of corporate messaging and content. Yeah, that is a problem. You can even go deeper. Why is that a problem? Lost sales as a result of low adoption. So that is a problem. So when we're talking about starting with the problem, you can't start with facts, because I don't know if you know, but I put this poll on LinkedIn. Facts don't change people's minds. I think there are people that still believe the world is flat. By the way, I don't know any of these people, but they're out there. And you can't just make claims on your website about stuff because people don't believe it. In fact, I use this tool every day. It's a chat GPT interface that WTF does this company do? You put in the URL and ChatGPT will summarize what the site does. It's so useful. It's so useful because we're living in a world where B2B sites are so spun up and high on their own secret sauce that it's hard to even know what they do. So the fact that I have to use ChatGPT to understand what a business does is a scary situation for positioning, for messaging and sales for sure. Stefan, what our solution solves, problem they don't know they have. Our solution increases the amount they can charge. Okay, goal, and that's the outcome. Very good. So if your people are coming to your homepage or looking at an email or social and they're getting confused. They're just gonna be like, nah, nah, meh, I'm gonna move on. So confusion is the killer. Nobody cares about your why or about when your company started or how awesome you think your innovation is. What do your customers really care about? And we're going to start with the problem section. So, what do your customers really care about? Type in the chat here. What do your customers really care about? If they don't care about your why or your company or your product or your innovation, yeah, they care about their time, their money. They care about getting results. Great, Maxwell, Cheryl, Stefan. Yes. So starting with the problem gets you closer and closer to where they are. So, demoing your solution doesn't convince anyone of anything. If that was true, you wouldn't see like so many percentages of demos not resulting in sales. Because the people that you're selling to believe in the things that they decide. You can't just tell people what they should think, but if you can describe their problem better than they can, wow, what does that do? That really establishes your authority, your credibility, and automatically has them believe that maybe, just maybe, you have the best solution. It's almost like the doctor frame. If you a really good doctor, you're going to describe the problem that your patients are having better than they can. And that does awesome, awesome work in the credibility and authority area, more than throwing up some logos and social proof. So some great examples here of calls here that, uprisings about being definitive in organizations that can't make decisions. By the way, Definitive sells software to help businesses make better decisions. Patience before paper. Yes, that's the rebellion that ReadyWorks is all about now. Transformation story, turning the paper checklists into smart forms. It's really, really good. So if starting with the problem, this is a shift you need to make in your marketing, in your sales enablement. If this makes sense to you, type in the chat, makes sense. Let's see, it makes sense, and we will unlock shift number 3 for you. Awesome, awesome. All right, awesome. Ian, Maxwell, Cheryl, Stefan. Number 3, the shift that you need to make is to make your customer the hero. Now, I should actually turn around this third shift. So instead of make your customer the hero, it is make yourself the trusted guide. Because, if you look at your homepage right now, what is your homepage in love with? What is your presentation in love with? If it's in love with itself or your innovation, your solution, who is the hero of that story? Type in the chat. Admit it if you are brave enough. What is your homepage in love with? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? We're talking about heroes and villains here, and victims. Yes. So this is a shift, like bringing clarity to risk. If they're talking about themselves, acuity, then they are positioning themselves as the hero. And there's a big problem. Every CEO wants to do this, wants to make their customer the hero. Every marketer says they can do it. But the reality is, nobody has an idea of exactly how to do that. Because if you look at what's on the home pages, they still want to do this, but you're still seeing text like our mission is to be the most trusted provider, or we're disrupting or the unique value we offer is. All of that is making themselves the hero. And when you make yourself the hero, this is really what you look like. Your solution looks like the thing on the left instead of the thing on the right. When I say thing, I don't mean to be offensive, but essentially this is a metaphor for how your company, your brand, your solution, your option comes off as. So, like an example of a before, like how many websites do we see with AI, with like a head, with like computer chips, and it's all about the AI. This is an after, where this isn't all about the AI. This is about the outcome, the result of the AI. What does the AI do? And it gives doctors superpowers. That's what it does. This is so much better. Then I'm going to go back to this. So much better. Do you see that? How it's so much better? How it's really about the effects. Here's another, this is like one in a gazillion websites like this. We're transforming mental health care delivery. Well, that's great that you're doing that. Who cares? Who cares? It's not really helping heal med cell. Got the brain there with the lines and the computer chips. Like, oh my God, awful. So the voice of all your marketing here, if you're really positioning yourself as the trusted advisor, you're not coming off as we're the best. You're coming off as how we make you better. If this makes sense, that this is a shift you need to make, type in the chat makes sense, because this is really important. We talked about this before, but I just want to hit this again. What are you really selling? If your customers are in a world today and they're spending more time and money doing it the old way, and you're selling a way for them to get to this future state where they're much better and they're awesome and they're winning, what are you really selling? Type in the chat. What are you really selling? What are you really selling? This is a fundamental shift. If you get this, you're going to be able to take the voice in all of your marketing, all of your sales enablement as the trusted guide. I would say no, you're not selling improvement. I would say no, you're not selling risk reduction. It's not distribution costs. You're selling, this is going to sound totally ridiculous. Um, yes, your solution, if you're selling risk reduction, Carl, Elad, you're selling distribution cost reduction. That's the dot along the line. What you're really selling is transformation. You're selling their ability to get there. And it's a change, and you're selling change. And this is a fundamental thing. If you get this shift, then this is going to come through in how you market. And it'll make it easy for you to take that position as the trusted guide instead of the hero. Because if you're selling your innovation, you're stuck in thinking that you're the hero of the story. Because here we got the diagram again. The current state is what your folks are selling to or in, and the risk of changing for most of them, definitely most of them, is too great. They're not going to change. But there are going to be folks that your messaging needs to call out to as the coach, as the sometimes the loving, or was it called, the tough love coach, that the risk of doing nothing is too dangerous for them. And those are the people that you need to involve yourself into their story of change, of transformation. So if this is making sense, type in the chat, makes sense. Yeah, peace of mind is what they feel, Cheryl, when they get there. Um, uh, so don't book a call with me yet, but this is if you qualify. We're going to talk about if you qualify for this. There's going to be an option to book a call with me to really go through what's going on in your world and your marketing, see if we can help you make these shifts. So BST Perform, this is a company that is selling a very like a breakthrough product that helps behavior um, analytics companies help children with autism. And it's a great product, a great solution, but she was missing their sales targets, could not differentiate, tons of noise in the market, frustrated with performance. After making these shifts, totally confident about the story, winning bigger deals and much faster. And even putting something up on LinkedIn like this, with the fundamental message of what their customers need to stop doing and what they need to start doing, attracted an ideal customer within minutes of posting. And this is actually an email from her, and that's so awesome. So make your customer heroes is the third shift, and we're going to talk now about the fourth shift, which is use the secret weapon. So I'm excited to share the secret weapon with you if you're here this far. Just now, let's just take a quick break. Oh, how's the weather by you? Give me a temperature reading here. What's the temperature outside in your world, wherever you guys are? Give me a degrees. 75, 65, and sunny. Stefan, Cheryl, 59. Ooh, cold. I'm in New York. And if I don't come off as a New Yorker, well, something must be wrong. I went to high school and college in New York. Elad, it's sunny where Elad is, it, of course. So let's jump into this. Michael, 75. Use the secret weapon. So the secret weapon is this. It's what we call this magnetic messaging framework. And it's really built on the same principles that you all know work, but it has three parts. It's a game over positioning document that's derived from interviewing the geniuses that you are. You, the salesperson that has the most conversations, maybe a customer, maybe a partner. And from these interviews and you really getting at what what is your who is your ideal customer, what do they want, what is their challenges they're facing, and from this, you're really dialing in your story. The second thing is then you're showing that up on every touch point, mostly your homepage. So your website really should be a conversion site, a site that really does the selling for you so that every time you're on the phone with someone, you're not having to show a presentation with stuff that really should be on your homepage. So to do that, it needs to be a 10-part transformation story, and the magnetic messaging framework you're going to download today has those 10 components. You could use them. And the third component of this framework is a choose your own adventure discussion guide that allows you to make sure you're touching the most essential conversations you need to spend the time that you have with customers talking about the most important things like their goals, their challenges, and how the hell are they going to get there. So that's what the framework is. This gold star here, these are like really great takeaways. Turn your website into a conversion site. That's what it really should be. It's not a brochure. And these are some examples of really good homepages that use the magnetic messaging framework. Get the good thing without the bad thing. Get this awesome thing quicker, not bad, not in a way that takes so long. Achieve the new way, end of the old way. Language at the top that is very easy to digest, curiosity creating, and gets people to read on. That's the purpose of the above the fold here. Goodbye spreadsheets. Hello connected information. So what cognition selling is so cool, and is a very targeted audience. These are medical device manufacturers. So this is the magnetic messaging framework that you're going to download, and it has section by section. If you look at the top 100 B2B websites, they have all of these sections where and while you can mix and match the order, they have all these sections from what their aspiration is, what the call to value is. I like to call it sort of call to action now, call to value, getting the thing that they want. Who is it for? Is this for people like me? These are the call to values that I like. Instead of just learn more or join the team or you know whatever, it's very specific about what value they're going to get by clicking that button. So I'm going to just enable this in a second so you can really look through and understand why these are all there. In fact, this is much better. The modern homepages now have booking forms instead of a form. They fill out their name and their email address, because a lot of that gets sort of stuck in the email land. And this is much better. It actually much higher rate of closing, converting. So that is inside the magnetic messaging framework you're going to download today. Here's some really great examples of the uprising. Make cybersecurity simple. Yes, make your homeowners associations smarter. So good, because homeowner associations aren't very smart. Um, so if you don't have your homepage doing all this heavy lifting, your sales conversations are going to suffer. because you're not going to be spending the valuable time you have with people um, having these right conversations. So you need to turn your presentation into a set of conversations. And most slides undermine sales. So, I mean, how many slides do you think you need? Type in the chat here. How many slides do you think you need? I mean, slides actually really help if the slides are really helping you have the right conversation. So maybe another way to say it is, how many conversations do you really need to move a deal forward? Hello, welcome, Jackie. Type in the chat. How many conversations do you think you need in order to close a deal? Come on, guys. Type in the chat. How many conversations? 5 to 7. Yeah, key conversations. So if you have a lot of slides, it's because your homepage is not doing the heavy lifting it needs to. So two, that must mean, Maxwell, that your homepage is doing the heavy lifting. Your homepage really should be your best, most important sales presentation. And so stop telling, start asking. That's the purpose of your sales presentations. You want to be designing conversations, not slides. And one way to design a conversation is to put it into three parts. Because if you think about every great presentation you've had, it probably falls in three parts where you're talking about the challenges, then you're talking about your solution or a better way, and then you're talking about how they're going to get there. It's very natural. Three-part presentation, beginning, middle, and end. And so this is a really great practice to choose your own adventure, because you're zooming into each of these zones based on what you know you need to talk about. But these are three essential bases. So if you zoomed into the problem area, there's lots of conversations, sub conversations you can have in the problem area about their goals, what they want to have, but they don't have now, their challenges today, or maybe in the future, challenges they don't even know that they will have, how the world is changing, how these macro changes and trends are impacting them. These are all great conversations to have in order to get your customers to make a change. So if you wanted to screenshot something, you probably want to screenshot this, because this actually derived after producing 3,000 sales presentations that we really dialed into what conversations needed to be had in order to move deals forward. All right, so a lot of these conversations are had on the homepage, as it were. A lot of these messaging is there. So then when you get to have your sales presentation, maybe you only need to have 3 or 4 of these because your customer already understands them. I see this is so common if you're selling a platform, instead of going through all 5 aspects, to really ask about what outcomes would make the biggest difference for your organization, and you're only talking about those. So just to recap, this is the secret formula, the secret recipe here. Game over positioning that your messaging should have, that shows up on your homepage, shows up in your sales presentation, and ultimately everywhere you are touching customers. And I hope you're touching a lot of customers. So if this makes sense, type in the chat, makes sense, and we will unlock the last shift that you need to make. You guys are great. We're going to wrap this up in just a couple minutes. Ian, Carl, Cheryl, Maxwell. Last shift makes sense is invest in outside expert help. My company provides a unique complex solution. So if you saw a Toy Story, you know that sad moment that Buzz had when he realized that his story was just like all the others. And he really needed Buzz, totally outsider, to help him understand the world. And this is kind of what it's like, getting an outsider to really challenge you, not necessarily do what you say, but challenge you to make these shifts. Masood, frustrated with sales were declining before, and this is a picture of their website before, and like, what are they selling after? It's so much better. It's about, recovery. It's not just about backup, it's about recovery, which is the new game. And after, tripled at bats, doubled their win rate after making these shifts, and I'm delighted that they are. So if you don't hire an outside expert, you're really going to struggle to do this alone. The marketers you pay aren't going to be paid to take an opposing view. They're going to pretty much be reactive. You're going to go back and forth between good opinions, stuck in what I call a solution-driven pool. stuck with the lingo of your industry that often doesn't resonate with customers and continue to waste money on marketing that doesn't work. These are CEOs that have made the shift, and I want you guys to make a shift here in hiring an outside expert. And I would say don't just hire a marketer, hire a sales enabler, because that's what I believe the future of marketing is. It's actually to enable sales, not just to market, market, market. So let's just recap. These are the 5 shifts you need to make to win. Got to lead an uprising, start with the problem, make your customer the hero of the story. That makes you the trusted advisor or angry coach. Use the secret weapon and invest in expert help. So the choice you have now, and I think I'm going to put up on the screen here your magnetic messaging framework. It should pop up on the right side of the screen there. Give me a 1 in the chat if it is showed up as a handout, as a PDF download. Your choice is you could go it alone, and or you can get help. And this is my offer to you. It's not offered to everybody. If you scan that QR code, um, then this is what I have for you. Really a 30-minute session to get really clear on the gap between where you'd like to be and really where you are now with all of your messaging, your marketing, your sales enablement. Decide what to do about it and get a game plan to crushing this as soon as possible. Um, so this is absolutely free, but it's only if you qualify. So this is not for everyone. Besides running a small business, that I've got people to take care of. I've got my family to take care of. I've got 3 kids and one bun in the oven. So I don't have a lot of time. So do not book. This is my ask of you because it is free, but time is not free. If you don't have a viable product to sell, if you aren't committed to your vision, if you are okay with where you are, if you aren't challenging the status quo in your industry, I really don't want to work with folks like that. Um, if you can't or won't invest time and money into sales enablement, you're not qualified. So if you are qualified, I would love to talk to you. And I want you to take action. I want you to make these shifts because all these things here on the screen are going to happen to you if you don't make these shifts. So as we wrap up here, what are your thoughts? Were you able to get one thing from this session that you're going to act on? If so, what is that one thing? What is that one thing? Yes, Stefan, sorry, the calendar doesn't let you book into June. So sorry. Hope we can select another time. Um, what what was the one thing that you really got out of these 5 shifts? What was the number one shift that really, resonated with you that like you can do this and that really would really help you attract your ideal customers and grow sales? Type in the chat here, what was the one thing? Definitely valuable to focus more on the problem and the customer being the hero of the story. Shift away from us into them. Maxwell, excellent. Focus on the problem, Cheryl. Yes. Yes, yes. Elad, the customer is in the center of the story. Yes. Carl, I like the rebellion concept. I think we partially implement that in our sales calls, but less so in our messaging marketing website. Yeah. It needs to be. It'll make your sales calls like relaxing and better because you won't have to push your product. It's really about having this frame of doctor patient, which is really what you want to be doing if you're selling a quote innovation. Michael, describe their problem better than they can. Yeah, I love that. If you can describe their problem better than they can, what an authority builder that is. And you can do that right on your homepage, right on your website. In fact, you could do that in a webinar. You can title your webinar about the problem. So I'm so honored that you guys got value from this. If you do qualify, I'd love to talk to you, learn about your business, and really help you crush it. I know a lot's on the line. I know you've invested an hour of your time here with me. I'm grateful for that. I want you to be successful. And if I could help you, that is my mission. I built this company, built this business to help folks like you totally win in helping your customers thrive and be successful. So you see how it's like a win-win-win. I win if you win, and you win if your customers win, and we all win together. That just sounds so corny, but it is true, right? It's like why you invest all your effort in your business is to help your customers be successful. So, welcome. Looks like Daryl just joined. Wonderful. It's the end of this session. If you have any questions, let me know. If you do qualify for this, please book a call with me. If you have any questions or like concerns or things that have come up, just type it in the chat. Thanks, Greg. Good stuff. Appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Type in the chat any questions you have, or maybe just one concept that you're going to just run with. This was terrific. Thank you, Cheryl. Was there one thing that you're just gonna just double down in and run with and be awesome with and help you grow your sales with? I'd like to hear what that one thing is. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're gonna wrap up here. We're at the hour mark. It's been an hour. Oh my gosh. Uh, I just want to say, I love you guys. Keep on rocking in the free world, and we'll be catching you soon. Hope to speak to you. Bye bye.